Okay, so today we're going to be learning about how to find the perimeter and area of our basic shapes. So our rectangles, parallelograms, and triangles. All of this should be reviewed, so I'm going to move pretty quickly, but not too fast that you can't keep up. All right, I'm going to use my highlighters to identify the base and height or length and width for area. For perimeter, I am not going to highlight anything just so it doesn't get confusing. All right. So to start, I'm going to start with my two rectangles here. My perimeter of this one, most of us think about perimeter as just adding up all of the sides. But with a rectangle, we can just do P is equal to 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. All right? And so P is equal to 2 times the length, which is 20.4. If you have trouble identifying which one's the length or the length is always longer, plus 2 times the width, which is 16.5. Now I'm just going to multiply these together. So I'm going to do 2 times 20.4 to get 40.8, and then 2 times 16.5 to get 33. So I have 40.8 plus 33. Now, I just need to add those together. And when I add those together, I get 73.8. Now, I'm not finished. I need to make sure I put my units. And in this situation, my units are centimeters. So I'm just going to tack centimeters onto the end, and I'm finished. Now, moving on to area. The area formula for a rectangle is area equals length times width, right? So area equals 20.4 times 16.5. I'm going to multiply those together, and I get 336.6 centimeters squared. Now, we want to remember to square our centimeters because we can think about area as like a bunch of tiles, okay, that fill a shape. And so area is actually how many tiles fill that shape. Okay, we're done with our first example. This one, if you want to pause the video, try it yourself, and then just zoom forward and check your answers, you can. So perimeter equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Perimeter equals 2 times the length in this situation is 7.4 plus 2 times 2.1. My length and my width. Perimeter equals, I'm going to get my calculator, 2 times 7.4 and then 2 times 2.1, and I get 14.8 plus 31.08. Now I just need to add those together, and I get 45.88. I need to make sure to include my units, so I tack on inches. Now to my area. I have area equals length times width. Area equals 7.4 times 2.1. Area equals 15.54 inches squared. All right, I'm done with the rectangles. That should have been very easy. You've been finding the perimeter and area of rectangles for a while now. Okay, moving on to parallelograms. So parallelograms are similar to rectangles in that there are 4 sides. It's a quadrilateral. The sides are parallel. The only difference is that 2 of our sides are angled. Because they're angled, in this example, the 8 yards is not the height. The 6 yards is the height. And that's very important because that's going to change our area. Okay, so the perimeter we're just going to add up all of the sides, or you can do 2 times, I'll call it the base, okay, plus 2. I wouldn't call this the height, obviously, because this is the height, and so we'll go ahead and call it a side, okay? So I'm going to put 2 times s. P equals 2 times the base is 7, plus 2 times the side is 8. Now you might be wondering how we know what the base is. The base is always perpendicular to the height. Perpendicular means it makes a right angle, right? So perimeter equals 14 plus 16. Perimeter equals 30. And I have to make sure I put on my yards because it's just the distance around the shape, and so it's not squared, it's just the unit. Now the area, my base, like I said, is perpendicular to the height. This base is not labeled, but this one is, and they're the same length, okay? So I'm going to make sure to use 7. And then my height is that 6 yards there because it's perpendicular to my bases. So my area formula is area equals base times height. Area equals 7 times 6. Area equals 42 yards squared. All right. If you want to pause it, we're going to go ahead and do this one. You can zoom ahead and check your answer to see if you're doing it correctly, but I'm going to go ahead and work it out now. So my perimeter, I'm going to do 2 times the base plus 2 times the side. Perimeter equals 2 times. Now, you have to look at this carefully to determine what the base is. This is not the base because it's an angle. It's an angled line, right? Our base is perpendicular to the height. So if I'm looking here, that would be my base, right? So my base is 9.5, and then plus 2 times just my side, my 4 feet. Okay, so P equals 2 times 9.5 plus 2 times 4. Now I'm just going to add those up, and I get 27 feet. Now I'm going to move over to my area. Remember, area is base times height. I already identified my base, but my height is that 2 feet. And so area equals 9.5 times 2. Area equals 19 feet squared. All right, we're done with our parallelograms. Now we are going to move on to our triangles. So, triangles, our side lengths are sometimes similar if we have an equilateral triangle. Sometimes 2 of the sides are the same, but for the perimeter formula, we're just going to say perimeter equals A plus B plus C, because chances are they could be different. So perimeter equals 14 plus 17 plus 16. I'm going to do that on my calculator. 14 plus 17 plus 16, and I get 47 inches. Not too hard. Now for my area formula is A equals 1/2 base times height. If you want to know why it's 1/2, if I were to have a rectangle, okay, the base times the height would be the area, and if I cut it in half, it would give me a triangle. So that's why it's 1/2 base times height. So I have area equals 1/2. Now my base, similar to my parallelogram, is going to be whatever side is perpendicular to the height, meaning it makes a right angle, right? So my base is 14, and my height is 15. So A is equal to, You can do this in a variety of ways. I like to multiply these first, so 14 times 15. And then you can either divide by 2, or you can take that 210 and multiply by 0.5. It really doesn't matter. You're going to get the same answer. So I get 105. My unit is inches squared. Okay, same with the others. If you want to pause, I'm going to do the last one. My perimeter is A plus B plus C. It doesn't matter which one is A, B, or C. I'm just going to start with 30. 30 plus 60 plus 50. Okay. Now I'm going to add all those up. 30 plus 60 is 90, plus 50 is 140 centimeters. Now moving to my area. Area equals 1/2 base times height. So area equals 1/2. I'm looking here, my base and my height are perpendicular. And so I have 1/2, 60 times 30. A equals 1/2, 60 times 30, and I get 1800. And then I'm going to divide that by 2 to get 900. And I'm going to put my label, which is centimeters, and square it. All right. That is how you find the perimeter and area of rectangles, parallelograms, and triangles. I hope that helped. Go ahead and look back at Google Classroom to see what you're doing next.